In a move to deepen its presence in India, Microsoft chairperson and CEO Satya Nadella has announced a $3 billion investment in cloud and artificial intelligence infrastructure and skilling initiatives over the next 2 years. The announcement was made during the Microsoft AI tour in Bengaluru, and it underscores the tech giant's commitment to improving India's digital economy, and it also aligns with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for a developed nation, Viksit Bharat. That's what he says, by 2047. So what will be the implications of this investment on India's investment potential, its startup scene, and more importantly, how will this improve India's AI infrastructure and also help the country drive innovation in one of the fastest growing digital markets in the world? Joining us now, Pavan Prabhat, the co-founder of Short Hills AI. We also have Chokko Valliyappa, who is the founder and CEO of V Technologies. Thank you both of you for joining me on this broadcast. To you, Mr. Prabhat, first, there's a lot of talk about being AI ready. What should companies do to ensure that we reap the benefits of developing AI in this world? And in that whole context, how do you look at the investment that has been promised by Microsoft?
To be AI ready, I think two things are very important. The first being your data that needs to be stored in the right format, in the right place, with the right systems. And second, you need some compute power. You need really a lot of compute power to really use AI models. I think these two are prerequisite to build anything or do anything using AI. And an investment like this from Microsoft to strengthen the entire ecosystem by putting in a new data center, hopefully giving more cheaper compute power to all the companies. I think these two can really give a sudden push to all the companies, enterprises. Individuals already are using Microsoft Copilot, and that's a fantastic tool. So I think these are the things which will really help us move ahead on this AI journey.
Right. Mr. Valliyappa, Mr. Nadella has also highlighted India as an AI powerhouse, noting by 2028 the country's developers will be the largest community on GitHub. But as of now, we know that project contributors from India are about second on the platform after US. What does this mean for the developer community of the country?
I think it's a great initiative. This is something timely, and it's what is needed. I spent a week last month spending time on learning AI. I went to an AI class to learn, and I was just blown away with what you can achieve in just a short time. And I'm sure if India is empowered, Indians are empowered with such technologies, it's going to transform India. And in many ways, transform companies like Microsoft itself. Like, think about it, 30 years ago, the investments Microsoft did in terms of getting Microsoft Office and Azure has resulted in their CEO being he studied in India, learned, bred in India, and went across to the US, and he's a CEO of Microsoft. Maybe this may seed the next CEO of Microsoft as well, right? So, it's 10 years ago, we were speaking about the digital divide. Now, in today's world, or the world going forward in the next couple of months or next couple of years, is going to be the AI divide. So one of the biggest crises or the problems that India will have is how do we educate and get the AI-enabled generation? And I think this is a right step in that direction, where we can get 10 million people through this Microsoft initiative. And I salute and I commend Microsoft for coming in and investing it. And I'm sure this will help India and help Microsoft and the world at large.
Right. Mr. Prabhat, one of the reasons which I understand that is holding back Indian firms is that returns from investing in AI are not attractive enough. And if you look at the areas like cybersecurity or data analysis or data management, how does one despite increasing AI investments, how can we ensure that the returns on these investments are meeting expectations of investors and also companies? And in that regard, how do you see Microsoft planning to train 10 million people in AI skills over the next 5 years?
So I think you rightly pointed out that the ROI, that is a question which I think that was being asked by all the CEOs and all the companies. And I think to a large extent, that question is also being answered in a positive manner. I think companies are saying, yes, we plan to use AI. Uh, and for certain use cases. So not every use case would warrant an AI solution. So that's the first thing we need to understand. And only where we really require lots and lots of data, which is unstructured, which is difficult to be fed or read through tables. I think that's where AI comes much more handy, like reading documents or pictures, and with large amount of unstructured data. So I think, and as I said in the beginning as well, the quality of data would play a very, very important role, and the compute power. And for both of these people, really knowing that yes, AI would require good quality of data, you would require a lot of compute, you'd require to save all this data on a cloud or whatever your premises, your hardware. I think this is going to be important. And I also was talking to somebody else. The ROI right now sometimes is not very good because the compute cost is very high. Now, because we need more GPUs, which were in scarcity. So now, if with more investment, Microsoft is able to give that compute part to different corporate or individuals, that should bring down the cost of using AI, and that should lead to eventually more adoption of AI and hopefully more efficiency. Then we get into a positive cycle, which is self-reinforcing.
In that context, Mr. Valyappa, would you also explain to our viewers how should businesses in India be accelerating efforts to in some ways overcome the barriers that Mr. Prabhat also pointed out, and in some ways embrace AI-driven transformation? Because I was reading about how at least 35% of organizations now are planning to allocate more than 40% of their IT budget to AI investments in the next 5 years. What should their plan of action be, and what does Microsoft's increasing investment mean for India's investment potential?
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at one of the things that this announcement of Microsoft says is also it's going to invest in a lot of new startups. So it's going to, with Microsoft getting in and empowering the startups, it will give a great impetus to the new companies coming up, and a lot of new companies coming up. Most of the AI companies are new and then they're flat, right? So, and from that perspective, so it's a welcome initiative that they're really investing in these startups.
Right. Last word from you.
And for India as such, one is again referring back to. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Please
can you hear me?
On. Yeah.
Yeah. The last word is I always say that the world does not need as much gardeners now. It needs more horticulturists, and this AI initiative and training will enable that. And on the data center side, the initiative again with Geo is a welcome journey, because that's a grassroots infrastructure with cloud infrastructure will join together and develop India in a much better way. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Valyappa, and thank you, Mr. Prabhat, for joining us. AI indeed has become a cornerstone for business strategy, and there is increasing urgency amongst companies to adopt and deploy AI technologies. With the latest investment, Microsoft clearly is reinforcing India's position as a key player in global AI revolution, in some ways paving the way for widespread adoption and localized innovation. Microsoft to invest $3 billion in AI cloud expansion in India. Big news there.